This is the Two Guys Take Podcast. Gaming, music, and more with your hosts, Mike and Adam.
Mike?
Episode 30, people. Let's go.
That's like a milestone. 30 episodes.
That is a milestone. That's, yeah.
30 episodes over the span of about 40 weeks.
Hey, listen, it's not bad. At least it's not like, 5.
We're better in the swing of things now, even though we've missed a couple.
Yeah, well, last week was...
it's for good reasons.
It was for good reasons, yes, for sure. But the 30th episode means...
This is the last episode of
the season.
The third season.
Third season, right,
which means absolutely nothing again. But we do, as we said, we have a guest. This guest is the real life inspiration for the movie Point Break. He is a rock climbing lumberjack from the northernmost point of the United States. Everybody welcome Mr. J-Dub TV.
J-Dub to the show.
Yo, what's going on?
Hey, look, there he
is. Look at this guy.
I look like a lumberjack deal. Got a Baby Yoda shirt on.
Oh, I like that. Although he's not called Baby Yoda, though.
Grogu.
Right, thank you.
Either way, I'm just going to call you Johnny Utah now for the rest of the show.
Johnny Utah.
What's up, fellas?
Welcome on in, man. Glad you were able to come and hang with us.
I appreciate you having me here.
Yeah.
You really don't have much else to do, though.
Not really, man.
Listeners at home, poor old J-Dub here has himself the COVID.
Has the vid, man.
Well, we'll tell you one thing. If COVID is going to stop you from doing a lot of things, that's a shame. But one thing it's not going to stop you from doing, podcasting.
Absolutely not.
That's right. Gaming, podcasting,
podcasting.
You can't pass it through the mic, so.
Yeah. I mean, when I had my pneumonia and I was home, that's what I did. 4 weeks of that shit. Woo.
I expect you to be a pro gamer by the end of the week.
Definitely not.
I'm gonna be a pro Elden Ring gamer.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Everyone's playing the Elden Ring.
Okay, so let's talk about Elden Ring for a second. Much like its predecessors, it can make you feel like $1 million, and then a second later, just humble you to the point of just, it just makes you reminds you that you're just a piece of shit after all.
Well, this is my first Dark Souls game. I remember years ago, I was talking with my students about gaming, and they were like, Mr. P, I'm playing the hardest game ever. I'm like, what are you talking about? What is that? They're like, it's Dark Souls. It's it's so impossible. I was like, well, why the hell are you playing it then? If it's so difficult, why the hell are you playing it? I mean, that game's got to suck. That game sounds like it sucks.
I think for some people, the series is, excuse me, the Dark Souls, the Bloodborne, or is that what it's called? Bloodborne? Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah.
Those games, I think, are considered a form of torture for some people. I really do.
J-Dub, have you played those games?
I have, yeah. I played all of them. I've only beaten Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne. I think the risk-reward factor is a thing. The risk of dying a lot and raging is real. It's constant. But when you do beat a boss and you beat the game, the feeling is on cloud 9.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking shit to these little wolves while I'm playing this right now. That's right, you bitch.
I will say, though, if you catch people that play those games, they are very hardcore. And that's pretty much all they do is play. It's just a very tight-knit community of those people that play those games.
I could see that. I mean, so far it's fun. I mean, the game is pretty beautiful.
I've heard, I've heard it's gorgeous.
Oh, you haven't opened it yet. You haven't touched it.
I have not. Tonight is the night. It's time.
It's well worth the money. It's honestly, even though it has its hiccups, and we don't need to discuss that because it's so minor that it doesn't even really factor in at all. But it's one of the first times in a while that I've spent $60 on a game, and I'm like, I'm glad I did that.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't either, actually. Most of the games I've been getting have been free, so it's
Yeah, been getting a lot of free discounted games myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. And free is always good. Free is
The
always
last
Yeah,
game
yeah.
that I spent full price for was Battlefield 2042. At first, I didn't regret it, but the longer I played it, the more I regretted that purchase.
good. The more you regret it.
The further I got past the refund point, is the more I regretted it.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, jeez.
well
yeah.
played, EA.
Oh, EA. Ugh. They get a knack for killing stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. It's kinda
So
like
why
that.
don't you tell us a little bit about your mountain climb that you just your hike, I guess, whatever you want to call it, whatever you did this weekend.
Yeah, you got it. So this past weekend, actually, it was Thursday, Friday. I went up to Mount Katahdin. If you don't know where that is, it's up in northern Maine. It's the tallest peak in the state. So in the wintertime, it's super remote. So in the wintertime, there's no easy way to get there. You got to drive to Millinocket, and then from there, you can hike to it, which is like a 5 mile hike to get to the mountain. And you got to carry like almost 100 pounds of gear. You're talking, clothes, food, pots and pans to cook because you're sleeping in the lean-to. So we hiked 5 miles in. That was freaking hard because I dragged the sled and I had a backpack on, which was probably another 50 pounds. And then you get there, and of course this weekend was like -10.
So now
Negative.
this is 100 pounds of gear each, or is this like split up between the
It was
group?
it was split up between the group, but there was 3 sleds, and I want to say ours was the heaviest, the one I was dragging, probably close to 100 pounds. The other one's probably 60, 70. It's
How many,
depends.
how many people did you go with?
It was 5 people, one guide.
And one guide.
Yeah, and that includes sleeping bags, which are rated for like -20, pads, and then like foam pads to disperse the coolness. So we had all that, and so we hiked 5 miles in, 1,000 feet.
This is high tech.
Yeah,
This is like,
1,000
this
feet
is
of
like
alligator.
legit.
It's legit, man. It's a legit expedition. You got to have a guide. You got to get permits from the rangers to approve this. So, oh yeah, it's a whole ordeal. So we get to the lean-to and we unpack, get everything ready. The guide cooks us some meals. He had quinoa and then some ramen. It was really good. But of course, the sun goes down. It's like -15 out, -27 with the wind chill. So sleeping was a nightmare. It's like them sleep bags you see on Everest. You're completely like engorged in this sleeping bag,
Like a
trying to stay
caterpillar.
warm. Yeah,
I was just about to ask you, would you say that this is the Everest of Maine?
absolutely, yeah.
So what's the elevation on this mountain?
The peak is 5,267 feet.
That's respectable.
Yeah.
It's decent. So
Is that
yeah,
the tallest you've ever been up to?
No, the tallest one I've ever been on was in Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Okay.
That was about 10,450 feet somewhere.
Oh,
around
damn.
there. But I
Wow.
didn't hike it though. I took it was the ski resort, so I took one of the lifts up to the top.
Oh, a little gondola up to the top.
A little gondola. I cheated.
Well,
Okay, so you get there, you hike the 5 miles, you unpack all your stuff, you're cooking. Now you're in your little sleeping cocoon, -27 degrees.
Yeah, we're sitting in there. We got a bottle of hot water and an Nalgene just to try to keep some heat in there. You're dancing your toes around all night because they're freezing. I don't care what they say. Wool socks and then boots, they still get cold. So you're wiggling your toes to keep them warm. You finally pass out when they get warm. You wake up a half an hour later, they're freezing again. Then you got to get out to go pee. So all that heat you just created, you let out in the air, get out, go pee, get back in.
I almost feel
like
boots allow for your feet to get cold faster sometimes, because like if you think about the surface of the outside of a boot, like hard rubber, like composite materials and fabric, it's going to get colder a little bit faster than your wool socks. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, the thing that people don't think about is people want to tie their boots really tight so you don't get blisters.
Mhm.
But if you tie up too tight, you kind of cut the circulation off in your feet.
Yeah.
And they get cold quicker.
Yep.
So they say you got to find that happy medium where they're tight, but not cutting the circulation off your feet.
Right.
'Cause then you'll be cold.
Now, is it a trail or you just like you're just like climbing the side of the mountain?
It is a trail in the summertime. It's the A Ball Trail. It's a decent trail in the summertime. In the winter, it's hit or miss. If there's groups that went up before, it's packed. But just like we're talking, like just a human's footprint's worth. When we went up, unfortunately, it was not packed, and it was like waist deep of snow.
Holy crap.
So it was very exhausting.
Yeah, you had me. I think you lost me at going to the mountain.
Dude, I was exhausted at the lean-to.
You
And
lost me
and
at
I-
100 pounds of gear.
I still had another 5 miles to go to the peak, and that's the hard part because that's where it's like it was minus 40 that night on the peak, and then the
Oh.
next day it was like minus 47 with a wind speed of like 50.
Now, I
Like,
feel
ridiculous.
like I don't do any mountain climbing, I do some minor hiking here and there, but nothing like that. But I feel like as someone who has mountaineering as a hobby, as yourself, wouldn't it be more, what's the word I'm looking for? More enticing for you to want to go to this place in the winter than in the summer when it's a little more of a challenge? Or is it just like that doesn't factor into it at all?
Well, for someone like me, it does. I love doing it in the winter because the reward is so much more greater.
Mhm.
Because anybody can do it in the summer. I mean, I shouldn't say anybody, but it's more of an achievement to accomplish in the wintertime because very few people have done it. And I'm not looking to like risk my life like some of these solo climbers do on cliffs, but I do like that risk and that challenge. So yeah, I definitely like doing it in the winter more, and it's prettier too.
Mountaineering
I can-
and
yeah.
like just all that fascinates me more than almost anything. Like I love it.
Yeah.
I've watched so many Everest documentaries. I've watched so many mountain climbing movies. It's ridiculous. I wish I had the balls to do stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I'll always watch from afar and admire it. But it's
The
no thanks.
Hey, the Alpinist is a prime example of the stuff that I
Oh
would
yeah,
love to be able to do.
great
It's
movie.
excellent. And the other thing is too, it's not just being brave; it's being able to either live that lifestyle or just afford it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Someone like me, I can't uplift my life because I got a home and whatnot. I have to have sponsorships. But if you start at a young age, these guys, as they say, they're dirtbags. They just live in a stairwell and they don't have anything but a backpack in their car, and that's all they
You
do.
must wonder how people like that afford to climb Mount Everest sometimes. Like,
I'm telling you, I every day I wonder that.
like the cheapest, I looked into it, the cheapest way to climb, and I don't know why anybody would want to search for bargain Everest tours.
Yeah, I'm not going for the bargain, the discounted special.
But
Not on
the
Everest.
Yeah,
cheapest
right.
I saw
you
was
get
like,
a tour and a half,
yeah,
a tour guide and a half.
the absolute cheapest I saw was like $56,000.
Holy
Yes.
smokes!
And that's on the really cheap side.
That doesn't even include any of the gear that you need to keep yourself alive, like your cold suit
Excuse me.
and your boots and hats, goggles, glasses, all that stuff. It doesn't include any of that stuff. And there's some of those dudes that go up there with like $1 million worth of just gear, and then they end up dying
They still
halfway
die,
to
yeah.
the summit.
Right.
Yeah, no good.
Don't forget the oxygen tubes. That's where they get you too.
Yeah.
The thing you need to breathe, they charge you a ton for.
Well, then they're like, oh, would you like to pay an extra $10,000 for supplemental oxygen? And some people are just like, no.
Right.
I would
Yeah.
be
You know
like,
what?
can I pay 50,000 extra? Because if I'm throwing that kind of money out anyway, I'm like, you know what?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, what's another 40K?
Right. What's another? So when you got to the top of this mountain, did you stay overnight at the top?
Well, here's the thing. We didn't
Were you
summit.
supposed to stay?
No, it was so the second day was going to be very long to summit, come back down, get our stuff, hike back. Half the group turned around about 2,500 feet up, and then me and a couple others kept going. We got up above the alpine zone, and despite having really good gear, we got up there it was pretty late, pretty slow. One of the guys that was with us, we had like a red light, green light system, and he was calling red light probably every 2 minutes. And he's a heavy duty, gamer like we are. So He wasn't in the best shape.
What do you
I'm
mean
not-
red
What are
light?
you trying to say?
I mean, I'm just.
Wait. Hold on a second.
Are you trying to say that me and Mike aren't in peak physical condition?
I mean, you guys are the exception to the rule. I know you get
Thank you,
6
thank
pack
you. I
abs and
appreciate
all.
I mean,
So my question is, what is red light, green light, 1, 2, 3? Did you do that up when you were up there? Like red light,
yeah,
green light,
we
1,
did
2,
like
3?
if somebody got too far behind or somebody needed a break, we just yell red light,
Oh, okay.
and then when we were ready to go, hit green light, and we
Okay.
keep going. So we get almost to the like above Alpine zone, and the guys.
What does
like,
that
"All
mean?
right,
I don't know what that means.
no
above the-
trees.
yeah, above the trees.
Okay.
So when you're above the trees, you're going to get blasted by wind, and it gets way
Right.
colder. So at that point, that part of the mountain is not a lot of snow. It's mostly just ice.
Okay.
So the guide was like, "All right, I got a spot. Let's pull over." And he's like, "What do you want to do? You want to keep going? You want to turn around? You know, if we keep going, we have to wear crampons, the big spikes on your boots.
Oh,
He's
right.
like, we can do this. Give you some experience, and we can go for another hour or so. You let me know." So we all decided to put the crampons on, and because I wanted the experience of trying them out, because it's a whole different game walking with those on.
Yeah.
So we strapped the crampons on. We walked up. It must have been 200 feet beyond where we was at, and the snow was still like 2 feet deep. Like it was super hard. And then finally we get above the alpine zone, and it's nothing but sheer ice. And I'm just practicing sticking the spikes in the ice and climbing and putting my hands on the rocks. It was the real deal for the East Coast. We probably got 500 feet above that point, and we had to turn around because his cutoff is 1 o'clock. If we don't get to the peak by 1 p.m., we got to go back.
Oh,
So,
1 p.m. Okay.
Yeah.
So what time did you start? What time did you start going up?
We started at 7 a.m. He wanted to start at 6. So get up at 4, cook breakfast, eat, pack everything. You try to pack everything before so you can just get back down to the bottom, grab your gear, and leave. Dude, packing in the morning was so hard because you get out of bed, you're not really producing much heat. You're cold. You don't have any food. You have food, your body produces heat from the inside out better.
Yeah.
So I'm eating breakfast, waiting for my body to warm up. Meanwhile, I'm like, every 3 seconds, I'm putting my gloves back on, trying to roll up the sleeping bags, the air mattresses, the pads. Meanwhile, my fingers, just before you get like frostbite, your fingers start to get all swollen.
Mm-hmm.
I kept getting to that point. I had to throw my gloves on for like 10 minutes, warm them up, pull them out of my gloves again, roll the next sleeping bag up. It was painful.
Yikes.
It was worth it though. I loved it.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely never do that. But
See, now think
kudos
about
to you for doing that though. That's
you
pretty
say
impressive.
you would never
I
do
appreciate
that.
that.
You think about that. He's talking about the Alpine zone. Okay. That's like you're on your travel towards the summit in that area. Now on a bigger mountain like Mount Everest, that zone is called the death zone. Literally, that's literally what it's called because the oxygen is so low
Right.
that you're literally, as soon as you enter that, your body is killing itself to keep you alive.
Not even exaggerating. Yeah.
Now,
Jude,
let me ask you a question. Would you ever want to climb mountains on Mars?
oh, absolutely. If I can get there.
Now, the reason I asked that question, if we will cue the sound effect.
Cue the sound effect.
Useless information you didn't need to know, but I'm gonna tell you anyway.
Okay, now you guys might not know this, but on a list of the 10 tallest mountains in the solar system, 5 of them are found on Mars.
No kidding. I didn't even know that.
So if you're ever just like, you know what, I've climbed Everest, that didn't do nothing for me. Let's book a trip to Mars. Let's get some rock climbing done.
You get some rock climbing in.
Now here's my question:
How tall are these peaks?
if you're mountain climbing on Mars, and you just happen to fall off, aren't you kind of just going to float?
Hey, I like that.
Wait, no, never mind.
No,
Mars has an atmosphere. It's not the moon.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Listen, let's just remember that I'm an idiot. Okay.
Hey, I didn't correct you. So I'm right there with you.
In my head, I'm thinking Mars, but like I'm also like on the moon for some reason. Like,
Oh, so how tall are these peaks on Mars?
I don't know that. I'll find out right now.
Listen, if I got
Let's
to
see
the
what the
top, if I
tallest
got to
peak
where
on
you
Mars
were,
is.
J-Dub, I would have to come back down. I would pull the Grinch. You know the Grinch on the sled, and he just
Oh, yes.
beelines it down. Dude, that's what I'm doing. I'm getting down that sucker fast.
We got
Okay,
down
so-
pretty quick.
Mount it up.
We got down quick. You know, the thing that was bothering me the whole time though was knowing that we had to go 5 miles back to the vehicles, and like the shitty thing was in like this lean-tunes that we was in, is if you are really really cold, you get frostbite in your toes. There's no warm place to go. You're stuck. You can't get up in the dark and walk 5 miles back to your vehicle. You were literally stuck there.
Right.
So that was the other kind of like thing you had to cope with was, okay, I gotta in the moment. I
Yeah,
can
you got to commit to that.
Well,
I can.
it's also a mental game too. Like
It is.
time.
You're in the between. Like, do you contain yourself and keep going, or do you lose your shit? And like that's the
Yeah, I
balance you
would
got to
lose my
work
shit.
with.
I'm losing it. I'm losing it.
I've
Completely losing
heard in some of the videos and movies that I've watched, I've heard stories about people overnight going crazy, starting to pack up their shit and start taking off down a mountain. And it's like most of the time they forget half the stuff because they're in like this crazy delirious state and they
Yeah.
die.
Yeah, well, I mean that, and that's
And
and
ultimately, it leads to their death.
that's, in extreme cases, that's the lack of oxygen, or in cases like
Yep.
here, it's not lack of oxygen; it's just pure panic. You know, you think
Right.
your life's coming to an end, you completely panic, and
Exactly. Yeah.
all
Mhm.
cognitive thought goes out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, it's a mental game more than anything.
Oh
'Cause
yeah,
I'm not-
for sure. I
I'm
can
not
see that.
physically in great shape, you know. Plus, I apparently had COVID when I was hiking this thing. But
Hey, that's
mentally,
even more of a badass. Johnny Utah.
Hike. What is it? What's the name of the mountain?
Katahdin.
Mount Katahdin in the COVID.
Now, okay,
I'm
now
COVID,
yes,
baby.
yes, sir.
back to mountain climbing on Mars. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes.
So, for reference, Mount Everest, everybody knows the tallest peak on planet Earth, 29,032 feet
Is Everest
is Everest.
yeah,
29,000? Jesus.
The peak of Olympus Mons, which is the tallest, it's actually a volcano, but it's the tallest peak on Everest or on Mars,
On Mars.
72,000 feet.
what? That is insane.
72,000 feet.
That is
Holy
ridiculous.
frickin' crap.
Now, okay, let's see.
That's insane.
Did they? Is this what they found with the rover? Is this what they just discovered now?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Holy
Well, I
smokes!
mean, I've heard of Olympus Mons before. I mean,
Oh, okay.
but that's, see, I
So
want to
this
find
is
one. I want to find one that's not a volcano. That's
yeah,
just a
most
mountain.
of the right.
Okay, Mars. Let's see. That's another. There's our Ascreus Mons. That's I think that's a volcano also. Yeah, these are all volcanoes. So Mars is just fuck that. I'm not mountain climbing on Mars because it's nothing but volcanoes.
Yeah, that's adding a whole nother factor I'm not willing to take.
It's like, hey, you guys want to go climb Mount St. Helens? Like,
It's probably
it's
going to erupt in a minute.
yeah, they said it wasn't going to erupt back in the day, and it did. So it probably won't this time.
Well, speaking of volcanoes and being somewhere where it could erupt and you don't know, is Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's way overdue to erupt. You imagine
Uh,
living there?
That's well, is that really a volcano though?
Yeah, it's different. Like,
'Cause it's the geysers. It's
yeah. When
I mean,
was out,
I think that is actually like because that's just like pressure release.
right.
I think that's actually probably. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but from everything I understand about pressure, you would feel like that would be a spot where they would be probably less susceptible to have any kind of eruptions or anything because all that
Yeah.
pressure is being let off like almost daily.
Oh yeah, like constantly. Those guys are going.
Old Faithful.
If one isn't going, the other one's going. Yeah.
I'm just gonna Google Will Yellowstone.
When I was.
Oh yeah, literally I typed in Will Yellowstone and that was the first hit.
When I was.
Here we go. Although another catastrophic eruption at Yellowstone is possible,
Ooh,
scientists are not convinced that one will ever happen.
really? That's good.
A bunch of science words.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Sciencey.
So it is
You
unclear.
know what I didn't realize? I thought Machu Picchu was much taller than it is.
Yeah, it's like 11,000 feet, right?
No. 7,900.
What? I could have sworn because we booked a trip before COVID hit to hike it, and we canceled it.
Really? Yeah, it says 7972.
Okay, that's
In the old
still,
Peru.
The
That's
sketchy
what-
part of that whole thing was the ride back into town. I guess the bus ride going down that mountain is sketchy.
Well,
Oh,
I mean,
really?
even isn't it like there's only one face of that mountain you can climb, and the rest of it is just
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
like there's one. I think there's one path up,
Oh,
and that's
there's
it.
one way to get up there.
Unless you're just like rock face climbing.
Oof.
yeah.
Dude,
which we're not
those
gonna-
guys are insane.
But it's not even a rock face
Yeah.
because it's all covered in vegetation,
right.
right? Or am I gotta Google it now.
It's pretty loaded with trees and whatnot out there. It's not like sheer cliff like the Himalayas or like some.
Oh
of
yeah,
the
that
stuff in the
thing
Andes.
is just green.
Yeah, it's pretty green.
Yeah.
It's not like the Andes or something like that.
Oh yeah, but it's got all those deserted settlements in front of it and stuff
Yeah.
too. Like that's what I would want to go check out.
Yeah,
Right.
it'd be pretty cool.
I'll whenever you go, I'll come with you. I'll go check that stuff out while you climb the mountain.
Absolutely. Get Sherpas to do everything for us and everything.
Nice.
Man, I tell you what, there aren't more badass people in this world than the Sherpas.
Oh, absolutely. Those guys.
They go
are
up there in like a
insane.
t-shirt.
Yeah. And they
Well,
don't get enough credit.
You didn't think about that. They're climbing these mountains before everyone else just to fix the ropes.
Yeah,
and then
they're
back,
blazing-
and then it's like they're going up without any ropes to fix more ropes, so then they can climb back down.
Yeah, it's
And
Yeah, they do.
the only time you hear about a Sherpa dying is in an avalanche.
pretty much, yeah. They do the part you think is hard because they went up there and did the hard part for you already. They laid the ladders down, they packed the trail, they got all your
And
food
the, and,
going.
and the thing is, you get these people that come back home to their native countries and get praised for climbing Everest, and then
Yeah.
you got let's see most Everest summits.
I think it's Pupatashi 29 times.
No, it's Kami Rita Sherpa 25 times.
Oh, what? I could have sworn.
25 times to the top.
Probatashi's 21.
Oh, okay. Oh,
He's a bad. He retired though in
yeah.
2019, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he is. Can you imagine that hiking a mountain that big 29 or 21 times?
No.
It's like 20. It's 25, 22, 21, 21, 20, 19, 7. Like these dudes are badasses, and
Yeah.
the whole list is all Sherpas until you get down to like
Yeah.
one. And of course, all Sherpas from Nepal, and then Dave Hahn, USA.
You want to see something crazy?
He's a god though.
He's a guy from Nepal. He's 14 Peaks.
Oh yes.
Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
That guy is insane. To do
Dave Hahn is number 15. He
Dave
went up
Hahn.
15 times. 15 times.
but the
Yeah,
hike that,
14 Peaks was crazy.
yeah, he did it in like what 6-7 months. It
Yeah,
took
7 months. The
7 months.
fastest anyone else did it before that was 11, I believe.
Wait, he did
No,
it.
7 years. 7
No,
years.
it was like 17 years, right? It was Reynold Masoner.
Wait, what?
Yeah, no, it was 7 years because he did it in that the amount of years they did it in months. So
Okay,
it
all
took him 7 months. They did it in 7 years.
Who did it in
That's
7
There-
months?
there's the 14 tallest peaks in the world. Like there's like an exclusive club of people who have done them all.
Yeah.
And like to do them all is like this crazy expedition.
To do one is insane.
Yeah. So, and it takes years from like getting the money and the planning and
Yeah.
everything. So this guy set out to do it in 1 year, and he did it in 7 months.
This is all the peaks. All the peaks.
14,
oh,
just
yeah,
like 14 of the big ones.
That's
Yeah,
Dave
14.
Hahn.
No,
Or
that's,
they're all like, what is it like? They're all over 10,000 feet.
they're all like 20. They're over 26,000 feet. They're 8,000 meters.
Which
It's the
wait,
full-
no, who got
That's
who
right,
did it?
8,000.
In 7 months?
Yeah. Pims Naz. That I can't remember his name exactly. He's from Nepal, so he's already used to the elevation.
Purbatashi?
No, that's
not Pupatashi. It's Nims the ball. It's Nims something.
I'm not.
I just
those
saw it like a
names.
month ago.
Let me see. Perbatashi.
Purpatashi. Yeah, I don't want to say nothing, give it away, but when he gets to K2,
Nermal.
the K2
Nermal,
scene was
or
epic.
Nermal Perja is his
There
name.
we go. Yeah, he's a pretty gnarly dude.
What'd you say about K2?
I don't want to ruin it for those who haven't seen it, but the whole K2 scene is pretty epic.
Listen, that's a mountain. I would climb Everest before I'd climb K2.
Absolutely, yeah. K2 is they
That is
call
some-
that the Savage Mountain for a reason.
That thing is just brutal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's some YouTube videos on K2 that probably shouldn't be allowed online, just because they'll
Yeah.
scare the shit out of you.
It's the bottleneck, man. That's where everybody gets taken out. It's that like 300-foot glacier cliff that you never know when it's going to collapse, and you can only go around it by the bottleneck. So when something goes wrong, that's it. It's over.
28,000 feet.
Also,
Yeah.
that's like people that climb the south side of Everest. Why? Like, why would you want to climb over those ice crevasses before
Yeah.
you like? Let's try not to die before we try not to die.
Yeah,
Well,
the North
listen to-
Face definitely
so-
seems easier.
As of February 2021, only 377 people have completed the ascent to its summit, K12, and there have been 91 deaths during attempted climbs.
On K2.
Yeah.
That's crazy how low that number is still, like given the year and the amount of attempts to climb it.
That's a lot of. I think just a lot of people are just scared of it, as they should be.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, because the stories they're not exaggerated.
Yeah, that's crazy.
People already arrived there, probably freaked out, knowing no, this could be their last
I mean, I'll
mountain
just
they ever
take a chopper
climbed.
right up.
Well, see, that's the thing. You can't do that. You
The
can't
elevation.
like the elevation's too high. You can't get a chopper up there.
Right,
That's like
right.
that's why there's like on Everest, there's bodies just there. Like a lot of these big tall mountains, like K2 has them too. Like the bodies are just there forever because they can't. It's not safe to get them off the mountain, so they just
Yeah.
You just leave them.
they're just
Almost
landmarks
like,
now.
what do you call it? Pompeii.
Yep.
Oh
Pompeii
yeah,
of ice.
right. Yep. It's sad because they get a lot of shit for it. Like, you didn't bring the bodies down, blah blah blah. Like, you don't get it. We physically can't.
That's like people don't understand whenever they're sitting at home
Warm.
what exactly what it is that they have to go through on it. Like you can't even like portray that on
Right.
like in a movie or a TV show what it's actually like to be up
Mhm.
there. Like no one will
Right.
understand it unless you're actually there.
Right.
Right.
I can say from like a mild aspect of the things I've done, it's hard. So I can't imagine being 20,000 feet higher.
I couldn't like
That's insane. That's
I don't ever want to feel that. Like to me, the gratification of hitting that summit is not worth what you have to go through to get there.
Yeah,
it might be for some other climbs, but to me, no thanks. I'm not going to pay all that money to possibly reach a summit, but more likely die.
And that's completely normal. Most people, including myself, probably wouldn't do something that extreme.
Yeah, that's some big time. That's some crazy stuff.
I feel like J-Dub, we could have you on this podcast 6 or 7 more times and fill up a lot of time because we could talk about all kinds of
Hey,
stuff.
Right.
you let me know when you want me on here, and I'll clean the books out.
Nice. Clean off the encyclopedias.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think that about probably wraps her up for this week.
Yeah.
That was a good mountain climbing discussion.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Had a good
liked
time. I appreciate you having me.
And educated me a little bit too on mountain climbing because I've never really it's something I've never really desired to do. I mean, I always was in awe of people doing it, but was never something that was like, let me go hike this this mountain here.
I always wanted to whenever I was younger, but then like as I got older and like more aware of the dangers of the world, I guess I'm like, maybe I'm cool with just watching this shit on Netflix.
Exactly.
There's a lot to it. You don't know until you start getting involved. The amount of gear and
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's
For
it's a
sure.
lot of work, but if you enjoy it, you're not working at it.
Yeah, of
Fun.
course. Awesome.
Awesome indeed. Well, hey guys, we will. If you're probably listening first to this, and I'm gonna be delaying the video episodes of the podcast by like a day from here on out, just to save myself a little bit of time in the evenings. But yeah, make sure you're checking us out on YouTube if you haven't already.
That's right. Make sure you subscribe. Find us on the Twitter. Two Guys Take #1. And also check out Mr. J-Dub. He's also
Yeah.
on socials. You want to give everybody his socials and stuff like that? Just
JDub TV on Twitter. Same thing on Twitch, the _, which I haven't done in a while, but who knows if there'll be a comeback.
you never
You
know.
never know.
You never know.
My equipment's still set up, and I haven't put it away, so.
We might have to have a little JDub TV Splash Gordon co-stream
A little stream
revival.
off.
Hey,
I
that
might
sounds-
come. I'll come out of retirement for that.
Hey,
Oh.
I think I will too. It sounds very exciting.
Nice.
Excellent.
Just gotta dust the mic off.
That's it.
Hey man, thanks again for joining us, and
Yeah, buddy.
yeah, we'll be having you on again for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Next week, episode 31.
Season 4, episode 1.
Hey. Peace,
All right.
y'all.
See you guys.
Later.
Catch you later.